Now, residents of Masalachi in Tangaza local government area in Sokoto State have reported seeing terrorists fleeing forest after attacks by the United States. The Nigerian government and the United States had struck several forests, including Kawuri, Kamdam and Malgam, where the Lakurawa terrorists are based. Reports say several of the terrorists were killed and their properties destroyed. Arise News Chief Correspondent Ferdinand Duroa is in Masalachi to give us update. Thank you for joining us, Ferdinand. Bring us up to speed on what's going on right there.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, it is the sojourner to ensure that we get exactly the details of what happened on Christmas Day. In the last 48 hours, well, we have been going around Sokoto State, well, particularly to places where did feel the effect. And yes, we went to Jabo in Tambuwal local government area, and today we are in Tangaza, where we can confirm to you that is indeed the hub of Lakurawa activities here in Sokoto State. Now we are talking about where the attacks were indeed meant to hit, and we can confirm that yes, the locations were struck. Now we've spoken to some of the villagers, and also some of the traders, because this is a route. After here, from this point, you cross over, and then it leads on to Nigeria Republic, well then leads on to Ghana, leads on to Burkina Faso, leads on to Mali. And from exactly what they've told us, well, they've told us exactly how much travelers from the Sahel, well, you want to call them travelers, or how much migrants from the Sahel have indeed been a destruction to the community, where there's so much fear in the air, so much fear in the air. But then from what they've told us, well, they can confirm that yes, clearance activities are taking place just behind us in some of the forest. Well, they mentioned the Kawuri forest, and then also they mentioned the is it Malgam forest, where the actions place, talking about the strikes. And then also some gentlemen told us about the movements of terrorists. Now, they actually described how they had moved from one part of the forest, where they call the north, to, of course, another place. So that's the situation. Well, I'm not alone. I've made this journey with our correspondent, who indeed is on ground here in Sokoto State with me. Nasiru, please join me, and let's indeed take a look at this situation.
Yeah, thank you, Ferdinand.
Well, we wouldn't want to say it's a revelation that was made, because these are some of the stories that you have reported, including the activities of those coming from the Sahel, who indeed come in, cause disruptions and go away. But then the only situation right now is that, yes, this is the first time that we're getting pictures in Tangaza since that attack on Christmas Day.
Exactly, Mr. Ferdinand. Yeah. Tangaza has a very complicated security situation where the Lakurawa operated, and also they have bandit, and also a kind of a tribal conflict between the Hausas and the Fulani. But the coming of the Lakurawa in 2024, they've been here since 2018, and they've been disrupting the livestock of people. That is what they specialize in rustling animals. But with this attack, this bombardment from the U.S. government on Christmas Day, the villagers really confirmed that, the U.S. airstrike hit the target, because they could confirm that people are moving from Kawuri, Kandam, Malgam, where the Lakurawa have their base, and even are very, very comfortable digging a borehole and even a well to make it a permanent camp. That particular place has been hit by this attack. Yeah.
Just to interrupt you, well, I think that's one of the revelations from this. We're talking about how much development they say have taken place in some of these settlements in the forest. They talk about boreholes being built.
Exactly.
Talk about wells being dug by terrorists.
Yeah.
And then who indeed come out to cause commotion, cause problems, make it difficult for the people to indeed, have a normal lifestyle, rear cattle, steal, kidnap, and of course go away.
Exactly. They waited until your farm produce are ready for harvest, and they start coming. Either they kidnap and to ask you to sell your farm produce. And in most instances, this farm produce, you have to pay levy to harvest. And after you pay levy, they also come for you. They kidnap the breadwinners in the home, and they know you cannot allow your father or your breadwinners to be with them. You have to pay. So the community here have suffered a lot. I could tell you history of what has been happening. I could remember in 2020, the DPO of Tangaza was killed right inside the police divisional headquarters. 6 other police officers were killed also. And in 2021, to just paint the tribal conflict perspective of it, 6 Fulani persons officially reported were killed. But well, situation here, it's a bit complicated. At a point, the Lakurawa even helping the locals to push back the bandit. That was when some local government officials actually confirmed that they have a hand in inviting the Lakurawa into the community. But at a point, that period, the Lakurawa were serving as reformers in a way, trying to instill a kind of religion of their own, trying to regulate people, try to regulate what you wear, what you eat, what you drink, and at the point they became a problem.
Well, some of the historical perspectives to it, but then the news is that yes, before now there have been worries, there have been discussions, and then about trying to get that confirmation concerning the attack. But we can indeed confirm to you precise attacks on some of those locations, and of course it did cause plenty of havoc.
Very good. Ferdinand and Nasser, I've got a question for you. It's one thing to have these strikes, but there's a need to consolidate on whatever achievements you may have gained here. Okay, the reports we're getting that you're just giving us is that some of these terrorists are leaving some of these localities, as it were. Do we have a plan, a sort of plan with the Nigerian troops, perhaps moving in and consolidate their hold on those regions that has been, unquote, maybe liberated, and at least have a military presence there on ground? It's not just to have these strikes and then leave the place the way it is, and they come back again. So are you hearing any word on that?
Definitely. For about, I think 2 days ago, the Defense Headquarters did put out a statement talking about some kind of clearance operations, and then also personally I have reached out, spoken to a couple of them, and yes, I did get the same information. Now, for some reasons, we were given some advice about moving further, though we've been able to get some very interesting pictures. But the truth is, there is need for consolidation, and that's because lots of people are beginning to talk about what might happen after now. There are confirmations that they have been able to, they are leaving their bases, and what it means is that they might be looking for some other places to go resettle, and that's even because the community themselves, they want to use this opportunity to come together, rally themselves together, and then for some of the institutions that are not really working, they want to enhance these institutions and then ensure that, yes, they begin to get things like intelligence so that they can indeed help the authorities. Well, beyond that, people are asking what exactly is going to happen right after now. Now, from what we gathered, we gathered that, these persons, somehow, they have been so integrated into the society that in some places that they have even married some of their daughters. And so, lots of people are beginning to say, okay, this is perhaps the time when we can begin to go into their houses, go into those places who are related with them, and then begin to dig in for more information. So there's a whole lot that needs to happen after now. It is one thing to have these strikes, but definitely the government and, of course, the military must consolidate on this.
Indeed, we must consolidate on this and ensure that people can feel safe again in the community. Thank you so much for the update, Ferdinand Duroa, Arise News Chief Correspondent.